Alright guys, so while James is getting himself ready real quick, everyone says that he looks like this one blonde dude from a TV show. So comment down below if you guys can see it and if you remember where it is. Oh, he's coming. What's up guys, welcome back to another episode. Thank you for watching. Today we're gonna show you James's G20 M340i build. James actually works here, he's one of our technicians. But before we go over his personal build that's evolved pretty quickly in a short amount of time, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and like what got you into cars and why you love doing what you do?
Yeah, so my name's James, I'm 19 years old, I'm a technician here. And I think what got me into cars initially was probably, I was like 15 years old and I always wanted to drive, and I bought a beat up Jeep, and that was kind of all where it started. I started taking that car apart, and then from that kind of moved to another car, and then I think this is now the 7th car I've bought since I was 15. So,
oh wow.
Yeah.
And you said you're 19, so that was 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
And you've had 7 cars.
7 cars in 4 years. Yeah.
What'd you have before this?
So before this, I had, technically the in-between was I had a white 328i, but that was just a flip car. I bought that to flip it. But before that, I had a 2020 Supra, which I loved. I should never have sold that car.
Yeah.
Don't sell your Supras, guys. But
well, that's one thing we're actually going to talk about in this video.
Yeah.
Is the M340i. It's such a strong car.
Yeah.
But is it better than the Supra? It's the same engine. It's the same transmission.
It's a different feel. It's a similar car, but it's just a different feel. With the Supra, it just feels wild. Whereas this car feels like a very refined version of a Supra. Is kind of how I would describe it.
With 4 doors.
Yeah. 4
more
doors.
Luxurious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot more convenience to this car. A lot more like fun, flashy type features on the inside and the outside, but
yeah, especially with the facelift G20.
Yes,
right?
yeah, it's
LCI.
a 23, so it's LCI. Front end's different, rear is different.
iDrive 8. So, do you like the iDrive 8?
I do, yeah. A lot of people are like conflicted when it comes to the big screen. Some people like it, some people don't. For me, I like it. I think it's cool. I get in there and it's like a freaking half of a TV screen in there.
It looks cool.
It looks really nice.
The only thing I don't like about it is I wish they kept the climate control as like an analog
knob
button.
Oh my goodness.
Otherwise, it's
yeah,
perfect.
you sit there and you're like having to tap the screen like 100 times. It takes forever. That is true.
Yeah.
I do not like that about it. But everything else, I do really like, especially on the inside.
Well, talking about what you like, it's a very clean build, but what is your favorite part?
I think my favorite, well, I'll start with the exterior and then I'll go to the interior, and none of this is drivetrain or performance related. This is just like looks and feels.
Yeah, just your favorite part about.
As far as the exterior, my favorite part of the whole car is the hood.
Really?
I love the hood. I think the hood ties the whole front end of the car together.
Why? Because it's the design of the hood or what you did with the paint?
I think I like both. I think I like how I was able to do the paint match and leave the exposed carbon, but I also just like that the hood gives the car a more aggressive look in the front, I think.
For sure.
Which is what I was going for. I mean, with the front of your G82, that was the inspiration for the front of this car. Was I wanted it to look similar to yours, which I'll never get there, but I can try, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
and it's very, very, when you put this on the car, I was like, oh wow, it completely
looks
changed
very different
the look
compared to how it did before, yeah. And then I think as far as the interior of the car goes, my most favorite part of the interior is probably the most recent thing I've purchased, which is the JQ Works steering wheel. I love that.
Yeah.
That's definitely my favorite part of the inside of the car.
For sure. All right, so funnily enough, as we were talking about the front end, like I never knew that James's front lip was an Adro lip, and I started talking about it right now, which we cut out. But yeah, this is an Adro front lip.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very unique.
Yeah, it was a more recent thing that they released. I had to wait like, I think 3 or 4 months to get this one. Yeah. Because it was on back order, but
it's like everything with Adro, as soon as they release it, it's just
everybody
sold out.
buys all of it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. Why don't we pop the hood, dude? You weren't talking about your power and drivetrain mods, but
yeah, guys, I'm not that fast. I'm just kidding. I like it. It's a moderate level fast right now, considering no real tune.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like performance goes, yeah, I'm stock turbo with the T51R mod. Sounds pretty amazing. But yeah, stock turbo, T51R. I do have a flex fuel kit right now that's plugged in and set up, but it's not being used yet because my ECU is still locked. When it's unlocked, that'll come in handy. But aside from that, I've got Forge catch can, FTP charge pipe, Evolution Raceworks downpipe, and then
what intake is that?
yeah, it's basically just an intake I put together. I went and bought some parts and whatnot and put it together. It sounds pretty good. It performs pretty good. My IETs aren't too bad considering that it's not like professionally made. I will eventually buy one.
All the basics of what a
normal intake needs. Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's one thing I like about your car, which we're going to show you what he did to the exhaust. So stay tuned for that, because for me that's my favorite part of the car.
I love that
anyway,
part,
before we get to that, yeah. So for cooling, what did you do?
What do you mean?
All right, so James needs cooling.
Are you talking about like coolant cooling? I have nothing.
You got no heat exchanger?
No heat exchanger, no nothing, no aux coolers.
Okay.
I'm fully stocked on cooling.
Yeah.
I replaced my water pump because it went out already. Get your water pumps replaced, G20 owners.
Okay, so basically your stock turbo, like hardware bolt-ons.
Yes.
But right now, what are you missing?
Right now, I'm definitely missing cooling for sure. Like out on track, heat soak is a big issue, especially with B58. And yeah, I definitely need to upgrade to like a newer, or not newer, but an upgraded front mount heat exchanger, and then definitely aux coolers, probably trans cooler as well. When
we went to Bunwillow, the first time I rode with James on the track in his Supra was like the most scared I've ever been to ride with anybody. Because if you guys know James or have talked to him before, he just full sends it. Like, you know, all the confidence in the world, just not a fear, just sends it into the turn, which is good because I'd rather instruct people who are, you know, sending it and then just reel it back a little bit than, you know, having someone who's like, okay, we got to work it up and get faster. Yeah. So, but yeah, anyway, back to the Bunwillow thing. You drove this at Bunwillow, and then that was right the day after you got the hood painted. Did you have the Adro lip that day?
No, so that day I only had the hood. I had none of the other, no, actually that's not true. I had the hood and the side skirts, all the Adro stuff, which as of now I just have an Adro lip and then Adro like diffuser winglets.
Okay.
But at that point, that was all I had was the hood and the side skirts. So we did a little bit of
off-roading.
Off-road. Oh, we did an interesting little tape job, like mock-up PPF job to do, like to protect the hoods since I just bought it.
Hey, it worked.
It worked, yeah. I mean, the hood's still, there's no big rock chips. So.
Shout out Track Armor.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out Painter's Tape.
For sure. And then let's see. I mean, besides the Dravit gray color, like Dravit's such a cool color. Did you already have like a vision from when you first bought the car, or wanted to buy the car, or you kind of like go along and go shopping at night and see, oh, like that's gonna look cool?
It was kind of a mix of both. A good friend of mine has the same car, and he had done a bunch of different things to it that I really liked, and that was, I think, the beginning of the inspiration for this car, was kind of seeing what he was changing on his. And then I think after that, I just kind of started looking on my own. I'd see other cars or see posts, or I mean, we work with a lot of cars that have, you know, Adro. I love all of what Adro makes. I think Adro stuff's fantastic. Like as far as installing it, I'll install it any day. It all fits fantastically. So I was really motivated to purchase something from them. I had been waiting for them to make something for this car, which they did. And when I saw it, that was kind of where the inspiration kind of was locked in. I was like, that's what it's gonna look like.
Yeah.
So I wound up buying those things. But yeah, and then also, like I'd said before, the inspiration for like the aggressiveness of the front end of the car was from your car. Seeing your car. Cool. When we're driving to the track and you look in your rearview mirror and you see his G82, you're like, oh my gosh, because it looks fantastic.
Okay, so your wheels, these are new.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
so you were on a, honestly, I liked the wheels before, just personal preference that you were on.
Yeah. The wheels that I had before, they're in that stack actually right there, but I was running TE37 SLs bronze, which I really liked, but I had a fantastic opportunity from this company, VMR, and they sponsored me for a set of wheels, which are, I personally think they're gorgeous. I love the finish on them. I think it fits into the Dravit paint really well.
Do you know the finish?
The finish is, It's titanium black shadow is the finish on the front of the wheels, but they offer a bunch of different models, a bunch of different fitment for different cars, lots of BMWs, Audi, a lot of Euro brands. They offer a bunch of different models of V801s, which are the ones that I have on my car, as well as V802s, V804s, V810s. They have a bunch of different really good options, so definitely check them out. They were super squared away. Brandon was the guy that I worked with. I really appreciated how professional he was. The customer service there is amazing, so definitely hit them up, check them out, and yeah.
Do you have spacers on these?
No, so this is
nice.
flush fitment right now. This is straight from
So VMR had it dialed in on the offset.
Yes.
Wait, are these 20s in the back, 19 in the front?
No, so they're actually just 19 staggered front and rear. Yeah.
Nice. Your TE37s were 19
My TE37s
staggered?
were also 19 staggered.
Okay,
yep.
okay. Yeah, coming around to the back, what brand are these?
These ones I purchased from Bay Optics. I also got the DRLs from Bay Optics as well. But yeah, they were also pretty squared away.
Yeah, look
around.
I didn't know that they were actually each a board. Like
yeah,
each piece
is their own
panel.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they have a sequence like when you start the car and everything where it kind of like goes doo, 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 like runs up and then goes back. And,
I was thinking about doing these on the M4, but I decided not to. But I might change my mind now, looking at these up close.
Yeah, I really like them.
All right, so I almost forgot, guys, but my favorite part about James's car is something he did with our other technician, Chuck. Why don't you describe it?
So basically, I had been looking into different options for exhausts. I had looked at a couple titanium ones, but everything is really expensive. And I didn't really want like a super raspy sound. I wanted something a little bit more deep. So I had kind of been exploring options, and I was on, I believe it was Facebook Marketplace the one night, and I found a F90 M5 rear section for sale for like $300. And I looked at it and I was like, thinking about it, because the OEM muffler that comes on this car is it's a single valve. It's just a super big box muffler, 2 tips and 1 valve. So it basically allows for like a partial straight pipe out of one side, kind of when you open it.
Just
and
like
it sounded
Supra.
pretty good, just like a Supra. Yeah, same exhaust as a Supra, but well, actually no, not same exhaust as a Supra. This car has no center resonator at the Y, where the Supras of the Y have a resonator in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically I had looked at an F90 muffler, which is basically, if you guys have seen it, it's a small like box resonator slash muffler in the middle that goes out to 2 really small mufflers with 2 valves. So what I wanted to achieve was basically an exhaust where I could have a full straight pipe almost, and then also muffled. So I wound up
both sides.
That's running out of both sides, not just one tip. Exactly, yes. So I wound up buying it, and Chuck and I looked at installing it, and it actually, believe it or not, the hangers fit exactly where the hangers on the G20 stock exhausts fit. So those tips like are completely, I didn't have to do any modification to my diffuser, any modification to the hangers. They bolt in just like that. So with the help of Chuck, who's a fantastic welder, he welded just like a kind of an adapter for me for the where the Y comes in from the F90 exhaust, because it's obviously not the exact same when you get to that point.
But it lands pretty close.
But it lands very close.
Yeah.
So we did not have to do much modification. It was just kind of a cut, weld. And yeah, with that, it sounds absolutely fantastic in my opinion. It's very deep, very aggressive, and then pretty quiet and comfortable when it's in
for work
comfort.
Or you go get lunch.
Yeah.
I always think like, wait, why is there an F90 M5 here? But then I realized, oh, it sounds a little bit different, but it's still
it's
like
an
very
very similar to that aggressive start.
Yeah, but it's totally different from any G20 or M340i. But yeah, we'll throw in an exhaust clip.
Yeah.
When you first gave me a ride in it, after you guys finished it, I was like, oh, is it droney? And I didn't believe you at first that it wasn't droney, but it's crazy how it doesn't drone.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
It sounds really deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking about drone and the inside, why don't you show us a little bit of the inside?
All right, guys, so as far as the inside of the car goes, I optioned the car with red interior, which I really liked. I had always wanted a car with red interior, so when I bought this car, I was pretty stoked about that. But like I was saying earlier, my most favorite part of the interior, besides the screen and just the quality, is the JQ Works wheel that I purchased about a week ago. So, let me pull it out. JQ offers this for the G Series platform as well as Supras and the F Series platform, right?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it for now.
Yeah.
But this is a fantastic option for anybody who wants like a very race car-ish feel, right? In a stock car where like the inside of this car is completely stock, but this to me I don't even think looks out of place. Like it's so just professionally designed, everything looks so,
it's clean.
it's just clean. Exactly. Yeah. So I absolutely love this. I love the feel of this. I love the ability to customize the hub with different steering wheels. Right now I have two different ones. I have this Momo Monte Carlo wheel, and then I also have a Sparkwell 360 wheel. And it's nice to have, you can pretty much have a different feel whenever you want. You just pull these 6 bolts out and you can put almost any steering wheel within like the confines of what they offer onto this hub. So I really love that. I also love these magnetic paddles. Are probably, I think, my favorite part of all of it. I had the magnetic paddles for the my OEM wheel as well, but it changes the feel of driving the car, and it's fun to hear that. I just like how loud they are. But yeah, so as far as the interior, that's definitely my favorite part.
I mean, the rest is just pretty much stock and super clean.
Yeah, the rest is just OEM.
Nice.
For now.
So what's next?
I think next for me is probably gonna be, I mean, I wanna be fast. So hopefully, I'll probably start with the supporting mods, the things that you kind of have to do, especially if you're gonna be pushing more horsepower or driving on track. I'll probably start with definitely the front mount heat exchanger, probably the aux coolers as well as the trans cooler, just to keep everything cool. And then moving on from there, I've already got the flex wheel kit, so I'll probably go ahead and start with, I would like to get an upgraded turbo and unlock my ECU, and then from there, maybe in the future, upgrade the transmission and continue.
Right now, it seems like a very well-balanced, daily drivable, modded
car.
M340i.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about this build in your car, because you could take it on the weekends, go out to dinner.
Yeah.
You know, have 4 people in the car.
Yeah.
And then when you want to go and, you know, do
beat
some
it up
fun
on
stuff.
track, you still
go to the
can.
canyon, go to the track,
Absolutely.
still do it with enough power and performance, and obviously that JQ wheel makes it a much funner experience.
Yeah, it's a way different feel.
Yeah, big question, and I'm sure you guys watching are probably wondering the same thing since he's owned both of them. If you had to do it again and you had the option and the same level of mods, I guess, would you have these mods on a M340i or would you have them on a Supra?
So that's a very good question. And I think it depends on the situation you're in. For me, I wound up choosing this car because I have 3 siblings, and it was a burden to my parents to have 2 seats because I couldn't take really anybody anywhere.
Yeah.
So for me, I wound up choosing this because of the amount of seats and then just the convenience of it being a 4-door. But I think if it came down to performance on track, I would always choose a Supra, and that's just because it's just made for that. It's so much more aggressive, it's compact, it's small.
It's lower to the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if your goal is to be quick on track and successful on track, I would say that your better option is definitely a Supra. But if you're going for, like he was saying, you want like a daily driver, but you want something fun, you want something fast, you want something that's still exceptionally capable on track, which this is what I would go with. So for my situation, I chose this, but if you were just going to track the car, I would probably choose a Supra.
Yeah.
They feel very similar when it comes to acceleration, when it comes to braking. I think the Supra, just like I had said earlier, feels a bit more wild.
It's got more.
Yeah, this is just like I said, it's a refined version of a Supra.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Supra, it's just like, it's just gnarly, which this still is, but it's a little bit more tamed, I feel like.
If you don't mind sharing, how much money are you into this build?
So we're in quite a bit. I bought this car new for $69,900 and something dollars, whatever sticker was.
Did you have to pay extra for Drive It?
And Drive It was extra.
Yeah.
And I had to wait longer too.
Yeah.
But I'm into it. We'll just call it 70 with tax and license and all of that.
Yeah.
And then aside from that, I'm into it another, with the TE37s that I still have, I was into it close to a little over 10 grand right now, I think.
Really? That's it?
Not that much, yeah, because I mean, with maybe a little bit more than that. I mean, as far as like the quick bolt-ons, the downpipe, the charge pipe, and the intake, I was into that maybe $600.
Yeah.
The flex fuel kit's another like 200 or 300. Same with the catch can.
Dude, you get it's because he gets employee discount too. So can't count the employee discount.
Oh yeah. Oh, so I think with like retail pricing, I'm probably into it about 15 grand in addition to the 70.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say 70 plus 15 grand.
Yeah.
That's 85 grand.
Yeah.
Would you rather have an 85 grand G80 M3 or have this build with all these mods?
That's a good question, actually.
I'm trying to think of all the questions people watching, you know?
I mean, I think personally for me, like if I had the option to trade this for a stock G80, I would stay with this. And that's just because this has been built to exactly what I wanted it to be.
So if someone went up to you right now with the same mileage G80, Dravit Gray G80 M3, and they said straight trade, stock, same mileage, you would still say, I want to keep my car?
I will say one thing.
What?
If the G80 had red carbon buckets, I would trade for the G80. And that's just because I love that interior. I've been trying to buy carbon buckets for forever.
You were so close to finding that
I was almost, I almost bought some out of an M8, but yeah, it's a lot of, I'm gonna be like 25 grand into it if I buy those seats.
No, for sure. I just asked that question because I'm sure people watching are probably, they've landed on this video because of the title or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're probably wondering the same thing. So if you guys have any other questions, please shoot them in the comments below. James, thanks for talking about your car and letting us pick your brain. But yeah, please hit us up. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.